Welcome to Shepherd's Coffee Talk. I'm always so delighted when Paula Roy's with us.
Delighted to be here.
Bringing some great ideas for hostess gifts.
Thank you.
So we have traditions here at Shepherd's around Christmas time, and one of them is sharing food together.
Yes.
So today, Paula, you've got some terrific ideas that we can easily make in the kitchen to share with our neighbors and friends if we want to do something simple and easy.
And I think a great thing about edible gifts, number one, you've made it yourself, so it shows that you care enough about someone that you took of your time to do it. And people don't feel too guilty when you give them something edible. It's not like, oh my gosh, she spent so much money.
Yeah,
what am I going to get for her? So
Right.
it seems to take a lot of that stress away from the equation, which I really like. And some of these, I'll be going to someone's house, and of course I'll bring a bottle of wine, but then I love to bring something else.
Yes.
And not guilt-inducing, like I said.
You mentioned too earlier that you've kind of gotten away from the big long shopping list and you focus more on food, which I think is so lovely, like something homemade.
Well, and it's, people have a lot of stuff these days, right?
Yes.
And someone gives you something, maybe it's a beautiful cake plate to serve fruitcake on. Where are you going to store it for the other 11 months of the year? That kind of thing. So with a consumable gift like this, you enjoy it, you finish it, it's gone, it's out of your life,
Right.
and you can have it as a memory. And maybe you ask the person for the recipe. It's like, well, I'm going to make that myself next year. I sometimes package these up with napkins
With the
and
recipe?
candles.
Oh.
Well, the recipe, yes, but
Oh.
napkins and candles and a
Okay.
food thing, and there's a whole little package of consumables that's going to be used and appreciated and not be a burden.
Sweetest person, hey?
But, you know, I was advised by an etiquette person that when you bring a hostess gift, it should be something that can be consumed,
Okay.
not something that lingers. And
Yes.
I've always remembered that,
Yes.
and that, just for those reasons, makes a lot of sense.
Is great advice. So where do we
So where-
start then?
Well, we'll start over here, the beautiful orangey yellow bottle. That's a mango maple hot sauce.
Ooh.
And that was a new recipe I just created a few weeks ago. Perfect on fish tacos,
Okay.
great on grilled chicken, all kinds of things. And it's super easy to make, and you can adjust the heat. I made it kind of not too spicy.
What
Right.
do you put in it to make it spicy?
Cooked mangoes, Scotch bonnet or habanero peppers, which are readily
Ooh,
available.
right.
And then there's carrot in there for structure, so it stays together, it doesn't separate and so on. Really simple, but there's, you know how there's so many people that talk about hot sauce and tacos.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I have some neighbors who are really into food, and they're really going to enjoy that.
Oh, that is so sweet.
And then beside it, we have a spiced rub made with ground coffee as its base. So fresh coffee beans ground up, mixed with all sorts of delicious herbs and spices. And I love this on beef and pork in particular, but it's good on chicken as well.
So you rub it, then you put it in the oven.
Barbecue or oven or whatever.
Okay.
So this is one that I know a lot of people are really going to enjoy. And cute little containers from the dollar store. Super simple. There's enough for kind of one meal. So again, it's not burdensome. If they love it, they can make some more.
Yes,
Yeah.
So-
I used a rub mix the other day. I was telling you about the soup I made, a kind of chicken quinoa soup, and I cooked some chicken breasts before, and I put a rub on the chicken so that when it goes into the soup, there's that little
nice. That
perfect
little
spice.
flavor
So
there.
that could be interesting
exactly
too.
it.
And men
making
would
soup.
like that too.
That's right.
Yes,
Or a
yes.
barbecuer.
I know, it tends to be women that take care of the gifting in families.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yeah,
Yes,
but they like to
mostly.
receive that.
And I am trying to think about things that might appeal to the men. So here's a good example. This is a spiced whiskey. So there's orange peel and cinnamon and star anise and so on. Have a little sniff.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, it's, I mean,
Wow.
it's strong,
That'll
but
wake you up.
in eggnog, for example,
Oh, that would be good in eggnog.
yeah,
Oh, you put that
really,
on?
really good.
Oh, delish.
And so you can do that ahead of time and just leave it to steep, and super, super simple.
Right. So it's cinnamon, star anise,
Ginger, peppercorns,
Oh,
vanilla
very pretty.
bean. Yeah, very, very pretty. So
Very
that's fun.
pretty. Good.
This is one of my personal longtime favorites. This is a curried coconut lentil soup in a jar mix. And so on the bottom, there's coconut milk powder, which I didn't even know
Okay,
existed
me
until a
neither.
few years ago.
Okay.
It lasts much longer on the shelf than the cans of coconut milk. And then 2 kinds of lentils. And then on the top, there's a spice packet with bay leaves and curry powder, turmeric, dehydrated tomatoes and onions and so on. So there is a meal in a jar for
And
someone.
you've got the recipe
and the
right
recipe
there.
is right
That's
there
essential.
for how to make it.
That's a brilliant idea.
So
yeah.
that one it's one I make every year, and people are so delighted to receive it. And it doesn't have to be in a jar. You could make it in a plastic bag. bag, and then pop the bag in a cute little container
Right.
like this from the
Right.
dollar store.
Right.
So if you don't have jars, it doesn't matter.
And just enjoy what Paula's saying, because all the recipes are going to be
Yeah.
available in the link on this post. So don't worry about not having the recipe. Where
Reminds
would
me
you
of
like
the
to go
old
next?
days watching cooking shows as a kid and trying to write
Yes,
down the recipe, because
exactly.
if you didn't write it down, there was no hope. At the front here, we have cute little chocolate dipped pretzel rods. So you can
Wow.
find those at Bulk
They're
Barn.
beautiful. They're
Yes.
so decorative.
Yes.
Yeah, just so fun. And this is one, again, if you have younger kids or
I'll just show
grandkids,
you.
could
Pretzel rod.
easily do that with them.
Oh, just one end.
Yeah,
Let me
you just
see.
melt the chocolate in a double boiler in the microwave, and then just dip it. And yeah, super fun. Put those in a plastic bag, tie a big ribbon on the top.
Oh, cute.
Bing,
Simple
bang,
gift.
bong.
And a lot of times a little thing like that is nice to tuck in with a gift card, for example. So thinking of like my letter carrier is just the most amazing person, and want to give them a thank you. Gift card's nice, but it's like, okay, thanks.
Wow.
But now it's that extra touch, you know, and same thing with teacher gifts or the neighbor who shovels your walkway or whatever.
And that looks easy to do. That's
Super,
something I think I can
super
handle.
easy. Yeah, super easy. And then here we have, it's a Bailey's white chocolate fudge, and I'm going to force you both to have a little sample.
All right,
You
twist the arm, twist it.
You
And
insist.
the big reason for this particular recipe was that one of my fondest Christmas memories was making fudge with my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like the epitome of this Edwardian lady, kind of like the Dowager Countess on Downton Abbey. Like prim and proper on the surface, but fun and feisty
Oh.
underneath. And I didn't see the fun and feisty as much when I was little, and then as I got older, she lived until her late 80s, and I got to learn that side of her. So she always wore a charm bracelet, and she would make homemade fudge, and she would beat the fudge by hand, and the charm bracelet would jangle like
Oh.
it was, you know, just going to fly right off her wrist. And it was the best fudge. And I make a lot of fudge. It's never quite as good as hers, but I keep trying.
Wow.
So
Well,
it's delicious.
honoring your grandma, I like, and this is
Mhm.
incredible. It's
Yeah.
smooth.
Yeah.
I don't taste a lot of alcohol in
No.
it.
No, of course
It's a very-
it's cooked out
yeah,
for the
so-
most part, but just a nice twist from chocolate fudge. And you can buy little glittery edible sprinkles at places like Bulk Barn or cake decorating spots, and you could sprinkle some glitter on top if you wanted to make it extra festive. I save boxes from candies when I get them as gifts, and then just repurpose them for things like that. And then for other things for packaging, I was looking around this year, dollar store again, like I said, these beautiful boxes.
They
You
are
could put some
adorable, right?
homemade cookies in there in a bag for freshness. I'm going to do sleeves of my homemade ginger cookies in here.
Nice
So
idea.
perfect.
Now, are your ginger cookies chewy?
Chewy.
They're chewy.
My favorite.
And you sprinkle it, you dip them in
In
sugar?
sugar, that's
Okay.
right. So that's like a real traditional maritime sugar cookie, and I really like those.
I need that recipe because I'm doing a cookie exchange.
Okay.
And I usually make it, and I lost my recipe.
Well,
ConstantlyCooking.com.
Okay.
Old-fashioned ginger molasses cookies.
we
There
know
you
somebody
go.
who can help you out with that. Speaking of tradition, Paula, I know you were raised in the East Coast, and you must have some fun Christmas traditions because you are all about that Christmas.
My parents, my mom's from Nova Scotia, my dad's from Prince Edward Island, and they brought a lot of their little family moments into our family of 6 kids. It was partly to be economical, which was great, but my dad, for example, would make molasses taffy, and he didn't spend a lot of time in the kitchen. Famously, when my mom took my older sisters to Expo 67, for example, we had bacon and eggs for supper the 3 nights that they were gone.
Perfect.
Because that's what he knew how to cook.
Yeah.
So that's great. He's since become, of course, a much better cook at 90. He still makes homemade bread. It's very neat.
wow.
Bless his
But
heart.
the molasses taffy, cooking up molasses and so on, and then you pour it out in a puddle on, at that time it would have been wax paper, now probably parchment paper, and you pull and stretch it like a ribbon, and then twist it and cut it into shapes and wrap them in wax paper. And that was something that I could give to my friends if I wanted a little gift as a child.
Oh.
And I can picture him so clearly in my mind's eye at the kitchen table doing this, and it was so out of character for him to be making candy that I
That's
really
special.
loved that.
That's very special.
And loads of baking. My mom is still to this day a great baker, and that was always a family project. Lots of pickles and jam made for gifts as well, which is something I still really like to do. Yeah, really, my Christmas memories are totally entwined in food. A little bit of Christmas morning chaos with 6 kids, but just happy and not gift focused. It
Right.
wasn't about the, we did the Sears Wish Book thing and all that kind of stuff, but it was much more about being together and just enjoying good food and enjoying time around the table. So that's what I've tried to carry on with my own family.
And the greatest gifts that we have are the memories that we
Exactly.
make every
That's
single
what
day.
you carry forward.
So that's,
Absolutely.
I'm going to have a nice memory of that fudge, I'm telling you right now. So you created another Christmas memory for Marlene and me. Thank you very much.
And by making gifts like this, whether you do it, with your partner or have some friends over and have a gift making bee, and everybody takes some home that they can pass into
Nice
their communities.
idea.
It's really kind of fun, and none of these are hard to make. Each one takes 10, 15 minutes. maybe.
perfect.
Really,
Perfect.
so simple. Even less. The whiskey takes 2 minutes. The rub takes a minute and a half. That kind of thing. So it doesn't have to take a lot of time. It doesn't have to be very expensive, but it's the thoughtfulness
Yes,
of
it's
something
the thought that
handmade.
counts. Well,
Yeah.
we just
Some
love you.
great
Thank you
ideas.
for all your
Thank you,
ideas.
Paula.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Getting us into the festive spirit. Enjoy your day.